Welcome to the Moor Zionst Trading Post, where we trade in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I'm your host, H.A. Jabbar, coming to you live and direct. You can see the Capitol over my shoulder, the nation's capital, they call it, that great place I was born and raised, not born right outside of Washington, D.C., but raised in Washington, D.C., the DMV district of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. Some call it the Beltway, some call it the area, some call it the DMV. It's the place I love, one of the many places. We're traveling today, sharing this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I want to bring to you a topic, again, you might say a part two, dealing with the subject matter of the Moorish Jews, dealing with the subject matter of the Moorish Zionst temple of Moorish Jews. I'm very excited about this subject. We've had a very rich dialogue going back and forth between this group, Moorish Americans, Moors in America, on Facebook. Had a lot of great dialogue, some real interesting input and dialogue. Let me share this post with you from February 7th. Nowhere in history do you find the term Moorish Jews except for in New York, 1899. Typically, you see the term Sephardic in reference to the Jews in Al-Andalus or Moorish Spain. Sometimes you see Andalusi Jews, but never Moorish Jews. In addition, Rabbi Mordecai Herman is honored as distant as the state of Israel as a leader of Moorish Jews. Lastly, if you study Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teaching from a Torah perspective, you see overwhelming reference to what may be called Jewish or Judaic subject matter, including Circle 7, 101s, and even in the covenant, honor thy mother and father. Let's look at some of the comments. Look at, again, if I mispronounce anybody's name, I apologize. Look at the comment of Cujo Adwoel. Stop lying on our Moorish kin. All right, this person, Yesan Muniz Aurelis, he put in various types of Moorish Jews. This is from the Library of Congress. This title, A Catalog of Photographs, Lanterns, and Slides. This is from, it says Moorish Jew, American Colony, Jerusalem. All right, so let's look at that picture. And they say that is a Moorish Jew. That's interesting. That's an interesting look there. Okay. So that's from the Library of Congress. So it looks like he is proving incorrect what Hashem Ali Jabbar said. It looks like he's proven that incorrect in regards to nowhere in history do you find the term. So this is apparently a place in history where this term is found. Let's see what the date, approximately 19 to 1920, this is published. All right, getting good. Sharif Anel Bey, he said, I respectfully disagree with the last paragraph in your post. Indulge me for a moment. The word true points to a manifestation or an expression of truth. Truth does not change, but its projections, expressions do. Thus, two or more expressions of truth may look different and may be called by different names, but both nevertheless are expressions of the exact same, unchanging truth. The Moorish Zionist / Moorish Jew issue historically directly relates to the crypto-Jewish issue and relates to Sephardic exodus to the Caribbean from Spain in the late 15th century. The period between 1500 to 1600 marks a time of global shift similar to what we're experiencing now. In fact, we're now experiencing the same shift in reverse. During the 1500 to 1600 period, we see a global identity shift, which includes the normalization of Blackness and whiteness in identity politics. During this time period, most of the Sephardim, if they could choose whiteness, and engaged in / promoted the bleaching out of their family lines. Not all did this, and that leads to today's Asiatic Jewish communities in the Caribbean and New York City. This racial choosing or racial labeling also took place among the expelled Asiatics that either could not pass for white or simply refused to. They became the primary target of the African transatlantic slave trade, not just because of dark olive skin, but more so because of old world identity norms. They were presumed to be Muslims embracing Islam, which was the primary enemy of Euro-Christendom. But make no mistake, during Moorish rule of Europe, even those of us who practice Hebrewisms were socio-politically identified as Moors. Islam essentially is monotheism, so the Hebrew statement, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one," is literally the Islamic Shahada, IMO. The focus of Hebrewisms as an identity stemmed from expelled Moors attempting to avoid the Crusader narrative of the slave trade by tucking any connection to Islam. Not long after those same Asiatics had to duck further due to Rothschild/Lord Balfour sponsored hijacking of Jewish identity by Khazar descendants Ashkenazi. Hashem Ali Jabbar, the one who posted the post, said, "I'm not sure how this relates to the last paragraph. This convo/dialogue needs to be continued in a video format. I'm deeply familiar with the crypto-Jewish actions, as that is my lineage, Portuguese Jews. You said a whole lot, but it seems disconnected from the last paragraph. Here is the last paragraph of my post. Lastly, if you study Prophet Noble Drew Lee's teachings from a Torah perspective, you see overwhelming reference to what may be called, quote, Jewish or, quote, Judaic subject matter, including in Circle 7, 101s, and even in the covenant, honor thy mother and thy father." Sharif Nil Bey responds, "Your last paragraph suggests a linear development/succession ending with the prophet's teaching and beginning medieval Hebrewisms. I'm suggesting that various expressions of truth, especially from the 8th to 15th centuries, were not recognized as separate things, but various expressions of the same thing. Thus, the Hebraic practical expressions do not violate the principles of Islamism and thus were acknowledged as Islamism or an expression of it. Only in today's norms do or would we see expression of a thing as the thing. As an example, all of the Islamic world see Jesus as a Muslim despite the fact that he observed the Sabbath and held the title of rabbi. Your last paragraph implies a Judaic root to the prophet's teaching. I acknowledge the commonalities of truth regardless of what name we give it. Jesus never gave a name to what he taught. Neither did Abraham. We acknowledge Prophet Muhammad as Khatam Nabiyin, or seal of the prophets, simply because he gave acknowledgement and obedience to oneness a name. Judaism, Hebrewism, etc. are modern conventions. El Chamo Amor says, Islam, to Hashem Ali Jabbar, this is my lineage too. On my father's side, last name Cabral. Had to bounce what became Portugal in 1492, name Manu El Cabral. Hashem Ali Jabbar responds to Sharif Nil Bey, we need a conversation. I'm writing in a way that may be considered colloquial or a way that others may understand. When one says Torah, you likely understand I'm referring to the 5 books of Moses, which refers to Abraham, same as number 27 in 101s. The 12 tribe of Israel, like number 25 and 28 in the 101s. Jesus is referred to rabbi and Jewish master in Circle 7 in 1311 and other places. Also, Isra as a prefix with suffix el, like els and bays in Moorish literature. The industrious acts of the Muslim references Exodus 14, which is about the 12 tribes of Israel, one of the 5 books of Moses. So with all that said, I stand on my last paragraph, speaking in a matter that is modern and easily understood in contemporary terms. Sharif and Al-Bey, yes, you mentioned commonalities, and I wholly acknowledge and understand that. My point is, Judaism can claim no ownership on said commonalities any more than Christians can claim a monopoly on Jesus. I'm not saying you're making such a claim. I'm simply pointing out that the last paragraph in your original post could be seen to imply that. Derek Riles says the group was founded by Leon Richelieu. After his death, Mordecai Herman took over. Again, another rich dialogue dealing with the Moorish Zionst temple of Moorish Jews. You see there Mordecai Herman standing there with his Jewish prayer shawl on. You see him on the left side there with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles, the Sabbath candles, also called a menorah. Here you also see a picture that is said to be painted in Israel, or excuse me, the state of Israel, of Mordecai Herman, the former rabbi of the Moorish Zionst temple of Moorish Jews. So a great and rich dialogue we have going on around the Moorish Jews. It seems a lot of back and forth. It seems like the original term or the original statement that the term Moorish Jews are nowhere to be found except in New York, 1899, is not a correct statement. What should be better have been said by me, Hashem Ali Jabbar, is that I have never found, let me say that again, I had not ever found the term Moorish Jews in history, except in New York, 1899. What we see here on the pictures at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., here of a Moorish Jew, and some of the information being circulated around 1900 to 1920 there. So again, a rich dialogue going on the subject matter of the Moorish Jews, the Moorish Zionst temple of the Moorish Jews. We got a lot of good dialogue, a lot of our Moorish scholars and light bearers, a lot of our grand sheikhs tuning in, chiming in, because this is a hot topic. So we thank you for this opportunity to share some of this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with you. We'll be bringing you more information as we prepare and set the stage for the 5th rabbi of the Moorish Zionst Temple of Moorish Jews study group to come and chime in on this subject matter. So we look forward to building with you soon and very soon. Peace and blessings.